Yeah, we have over 3,000 employees and over 4 million square feet of distribution center space. And those are things I'm very, very proud of, because with that distribution center space and half a dozen distribution centers around the country, it allows us to get product close to customers so that we can ship it to customers in a very timely way, which improves customer service levels. That's what we're about. If there's one thing Amazon.com is about, it's obsessive attention to the customer experience, end to end. And that's what those distribution centers are.
But you're not a pure internet play.
It doesn't matter to me whether we're a pure internet play. What matters to me is do we provide the best customer service. Internet, schminternet, that doesn't matter.
Well, but it does matter to your investors to know whether they're investing in a company that
No, they should be investing in a company that obsesses over customer experience. In the long term, there is never any misalignment between customer interests and shareholder interests.
What if I told you that the richest man on earth started his empire in a garage with nothing but a crazy idea about selling books online? What if I told you that everyone called him insane, that his own parents thought he was throwing his life away, and that he almost went bankrupt multiple times before becoming worth over $180 billion? This is the incredible story of Jeff Bezos, and how he built Amazon from literally nothing into the most powerful company on the planet. But here's what will shock you. The real secrets behind his success have nothing to do with luck, and everything to do with principles that you can apply to your own life starting today. I'm about to reveal the exact mindset shifts, the strategic decisions, and the ruthless focus that transformed a Princeton graduate working on Wall Street into the founder of a $1 trillion empire. And if you think this is just another business story, think again. This is a blueprint for anyone who wants to turn their wildest dreams into reality. Let me take you back to 1994. Jeff Bezos was 30 years old, making serious money as a vice president at a hedge fund in New York. He had everything: a prestigious job, a fat paycheck, and a secure future. But then, something happened that changed everything. He discovered a mind-blowing statistic. The internet was growing at 2,300% per year. Most people couldn't even comprehend what that meant. But Bezos saw something that nobody else could see. He realized that this wasn't just a trend. This was the future of human civilization. Now here's where most people would have just thought about it and done nothing. But Bezos made a decision that separated him from 99% of the population. He created what he called the regret minimization framework. He imagined himself at 80 years old, looking back at his life. He asked himself one simple question: would I regret not trying to participate in this internet revolution? The answer was crystal clear. He would regret it for the rest of his life if he didn't at least try. This is the first massive lesson we can learn from Bezos. Most people make decisions based on fear of failure, but successful people make decisions based on fear of regret. They're more afraid of wondering what could have been than they are of actually failing. So Bezos did something that seemed absolutely insane to everyone around him. He quit his high-paying job, convinced his wife Mackenzie to pack up their life, and drove across the country to Seattle with nothing but a business plan he wrote in the car. But here's what's incredible. He didn't even know what he was going to sell yet. He just knew that e-commerce was going to explode, and he wanted to be part of it. He made a list of 20 potential products he could sell online. Books topped the list for one simple reason. There were over 3 million books in print, but even the largest physical bookstore could only stock 175,000 titles. This reveals the second crucial principle of Bezos' success. He thought in terms of unlimited potential rather than current limitations. While other people saw the barriers, he saw the possibilities. When they arrived in Seattle, they rented a small house in the suburbs. And here's where the garage story begins. But it wasn't some romantic startup fantasy. It was pure necessity. They couldn't afford office space, so the garage became Amazon's first warehouse, office, and shipping center all in one. Bezos set up a desk made from a door and some 2x4s. His wife Mackenzie helped pack books. His parents invested $300,000 of their retirement savings, even though his father admitted later that he didn't really understand what the internet was. They just believed in their son. The early days were brutal. Bezos was working 12-hour days, 7 days a week. He was the CEO, the packer, the shipper, and the customer service representative. When orders came in, he would drive to the local Barnes & Noble to buy the books, then ship them out from his garage. But here's what made Bezos different from every other struggling entrepreneur. He wasn't just trying to make money. He was obsessed with creating something that had never existed before. He called it customer obsession, and it became the foundation of everything Amazon would become. While other online retailers were focused on making quick profits, Bezos was focused on one thing: making customers so happy that they would never want to shop anywhere else. He would personally read every customer complaint and forward the worst ones to all his employees with just one word written at the top: ? This obsession with customer experience led to innovations that nobody thought were important at the time. One-click ordering, customer reviews, personalized recommendations. These seem obvious now, but they were revolutionary ideas that Bezos implemented when everyone else thought they were unnecessary. The third principle we learn from Bezos is this: while everyone else is competing on price, compete on experience. While everyone else is trying to make money, focus on creating value. The money will follow, but only if you're solving real problems for real people. By 1995, Amazon was getting 20,000 visitors per day. But Bezos wasn't satisfied with just selling books. He had a vision that was so big, so audacious, that when he shared it with people, they thought he was delusional. He wanted to create the everything store, a place where you could buy anything you wanted online. But here's the genius part. He didn't try to do everything at once. This is the fourth principle of his success. Think big, but start small. Execute relentlessly on a focused vision, but always keep the bigger picture in mind. Amazon slowly expanded from books to music, then to electronics, then to everything else. But each expansion was calculated, strategic, and always focused on what would benefit customers the most. In 1997, Amazon went public, and this is where things got really interesting. Most companies go public to cash out and take profits, but Bezos did something completely different. He used the public offering as a way to raise money for expansion, and he wrote a letter to shareholders that would become legendary in business history. He told investors that Amazon would continue to make bold investments in growth, even if it meant sacrificing short-term profits. He said they were building a company for the long term, not for quarterly earnings reports. Most investors thought he was crazy. Wall Street analysts constantly criticized Amazon for not making enough profit. For years, the company barely broke, even because Bezos was reinvesting every penny back into growth, innovation, and customer experience. While other CEOs were focused on pleasing shareholders, Bezos was focused on building something that would last forever. This brings us to the fifth principle of Bezos' success. Think in decades, not quarters. While everyone else is optimizing for immediate results, successful people are building foundations for long-term dominance. The early 2000s were the ultimate test of this philosophy. The dot-com bubble burst, and Amazon's stock price fell from over $100 to just $6. Employees were leaving, investors were panicking, and everyone was predicting that Amazon would be another casualty of the internet crash. But Bezos never wavered. While other companies were cutting costs and laying off employees, Amazon continued to invest in technology, infrastructure, and customer experience. He knew that when the market recovered, Amazon would be positioned to dominate. And that's exactly what happened. By 2001, Amazon was not just surviving. It was thriving while competitors were going out of business. The company had built such a strong foundation during the boom years that it could weather any storm. This period taught us the sixth principle of Bezos' success. Embrace the long-term mindset even when everyone else is panicking about short-term problems. The companies and individuals who prepare for difficulties during good times are the ones who thrive during bad times. But Bezos wasn't content with just surviving. He was already working on the next phase of Amazon's evolution. He realized that the same technology infrastructure Amazon was building for itself could be valuable to other companies. This insight led to the creation of Amazon Web Services, or AWS. Most people don't realize that AWS, Amazon's cloud computing division, now generates more profit than the entire retail business that made Amazon famous. This happened because Bezos saw an opportunity that nobody else could see. He could turn Amazon's internal capabilities into external services. This is the 7th principle we learn from Bezos. Always look for ways to turn your internal strengths into external opportunities. The skills, systems, and capabilities you develop for one purpose can often be applied to create entirely new revenue streams. Throughout this entire journey, Bezos maintained what he called a day one mentality. He believed that successful companies and individuals should always act like they're just getting started, always hungry, always innovating, always focused on customers rather than competitors. He would say that day 2 is stasis, followed by irrelevance, followed by decline, followed by death. This is why Amazon continued to innovate and disrupt industries even after becoming one of the most successful companies in history. The day one mentality represents the 8th principle of Bezos' success. Never let success make you comfortable. The moment you start defending what you have instead of building what could be, you begin the process of decline. As Amazon grew, Bezos faced criticism for the company's aggressive expansion into new markets. Bookstores complained when Amazon expanded beyond books. Retailers complained when Amazon launched its marketplace. Tech companies complained when Amazon launched AWS. But Bezos understood something that his critics didn't. In a rapidly changing world, the biggest risk is not taking risks. Companies that try to protect their existing business, instead of cannibalizing it with something better, will eventually be disrupted by someone who isn't afraid to take those risks. This leads us to the 9th principle of Bezos' success. Be willing to cannibalize your own success to create something even better. Don't let fear of disrupting your current business prevent you from building your future business. One of the most overlooked aspects of Bezos' success is his approach to hiring and building teams. From the very beginning, he was obsessed with hiring people who were not just smart, but who raised the bar for everyone around them. He called this hiring people who were better than 50% of the people already working at the company. He also implemented what became known as the 2-pizza rule. No meeting should be so large that 2 pizzas couldn't feed everyone in attendance. This kept teams small, nimble, and accountable. The 10th principle we learn from Bezos is that your success is limited by the quality of people you surround yourself with. Hire slow, fire fast, and never compromise on raising the overall talent level of your organization. As Amazon approached its 20th anniversary, Bezos began to think about his legacy and what he wanted to accomplish beyond building the world's largest retailer. This led to his investments in space exploration through Blue Origin and his focus on long-term projects that could benefit humanity. But perhaps the most important thing Bezos did was create a culture of written communication at Amazon. Instead of PowerPoint presentations, employees had to write detailed narrative documents that clearly explained their ideas, the problems they were solving, and the proposed solutions. This emphasis on clear thinking and clear communication created a culture where the best ideas won, regardless of who proposed them. It eliminated the politics and personality contests that destroy many organizations. The 11th principle we learn from Bezos is that clear communication leads to clear thinking, which leads to better decisions. If you can't explain your idea in writing, you probably don't understand it well enough to execute it successfully. Today, Amazon is worth over $1 trillion, employs over 1 million people, and touches the lives of billions of customers around the world. But the most remarkable thing about Jeff Bezos' story isn't the money or the success. It's the principles and mindset that made it all possible. These same principles can be applied to any goal, any dream, any vision you have for your life. You don't need to build the next Amazon, but you can use the same thinking patterns that built Amazon to create success in your own field. Let's recap the key principles that transformed Jeff Bezos from a Wall Street employee into one of the most successful entrepreneurs in history. First, make decisions based on fear of regret, not fear of failure. Ask yourself what you'll regret not trying when you're 80 years old. Second, think in terms of unlimited potential rather than current limitations. Focus on what's possible, not what's difficult. Third, compete on experience and value, not just price. Make your customers so happy they never want to go anywhere else. Fourth, think big but start small. Have an audacious vision but execute it one step at a time. Fifth, think in decades, not quarters. Build foundations for long-term success, even if it means sacrificing short-term gains. Sixth, prepare for difficulties during good times. The people who thrive during bad times are those who build strength during good times. Seventh, turn your internal strengths into external opportunities. Look for ways to monetize the capabilities you're already developing. Eighth, maintain a day one mentality. Never let success make you comfortable or complacent. Ninth, be willing to cannibalize your own success. Disrupt yourself before someone else does. 10th, hire people who raise the bar. Your success is limited by the quality of people around you. 11th, prioritize clear communication and clear thinking. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. The story of Jeff Bezos and Amazon proves that with the right mindset, the right principles, and relentless execution, it's possible to turn any vision into reality. But it also shows us that success isn't about having perfect conditions or unlimited resources. Bezos started in a garage with borrowed money and a crazy idea. What he had that most people don't have wasn't capital or connections. It was clarity of vision and the courage to act on that vision even when everyone else thought he was making a mistake. The most successful people in any field share this same characteristic. They see opportunities that others miss, they act while others hesitate, and they persist while others quit. But here's the truth that nobody talks about. These aren't special talents that only a few people are born with. These are skills and mindsets that can be developed by anyone who's willing to do the work. The question isn't whether you have what it takes to be successful. The question is whether you're willing to develop what it takes. Are you willing to make decisions based on your long-term vision rather than your short-term fears? Are you willing to focus on creating value for others rather than just making money for yourself? Are you willing to think bigger and start smaller, to prepare for difficulties during good times, and to never let success make you comfortable? These are the choices that separate people who dream from people who achieve. These are the principles that built Amazon, and they're the same principles that can build whatever vision you have for your own life. The garage where Jeff Bezos started Amazon is now a symbol of what's possible when someone combines a big vision with relentless execution. But remember, every successful person started somewhere small, somewhere humble, somewhere that seemed insignificant to everyone else. Your garage moment isn't about the physical space. It's about the mental space where you decide that your vision is more important than other people's opinions, where you choose long-term success over short-term comfort, and where you commit to doing whatever it takes to turn your dreams into reality. Jeff Bezos built Amazon from a garage, but more importantly, he built it from a mindset that refused to accept limitations. That same mindset is available to you right now, today, in whatever situation you're currently facing. The only question that matters is this: what are you going to build with it? If this story inspired you to think bigger about your own possibilities, make sure to subscribe to StoVibe for more incredible stories of people who turned their wildest dreams into reality. Hit that notification bell so you never miss the content that could change your life. And let me know in the comments what vision you're ready to start building from your own garage.